Day 77 of AI blogging. Let's jump right in and create a piece of content, a blog post that's going to rank number 1. We're using RankIQ for the keyword phrase astronomy questions. You can see that based on their analysis, the time to rank for this is very fast, and we need about 2,400 words. Based upon the content that they have analyzed and the topics that Google likes and posts, we're going to use that information as well as the rest of the content analysis here for the title analysis, as well as the highest graded content in the SERPs, these 3 URLs. Because with ChatGPT, we have the power to grab plugins or grab content off of the internet using plugins. And the 2 plugins that we are going to use today are WebPilot, which is just a plugin that allows ChatGPT to go out to the internet and read certain URLs. SEO Core AI, it is a plugin that basically can go out and read certain URLs. Also is supposed to be able to analyze and improve the SEO of a website, get advice on websites, keywords, and competitors. I use those 2 together, and ChatGPT is supposed to be smart enough to know which one to pick, but you can also tell it which one to pick. But we're just going to let ChatGPT, because we do know that it has a mind of its own based upon the content we've created so far up to day 77. So we're going to enable those 2 plugins. And we're going to go back to RankIQ and look at this keyword phrase, astronomy questions, and use all this content analysis. But before we do that, I just wanted to go to Google and type in the keyword phrase, astronomy questions, to see what we get back. There is a rich snippet here, or a featured snippet, and you can see that's from Harvard University, harvard.edu. Most likely that'll be really hard to beat as far as just authority. But also the idea is nobody is typing in astronomy questions, that 2-word phrase into Google. You're creating a post that is answering all the different types of astronomy questions that you could possibly come up with, or the most common ones. And that's where inside of RankIQ, we have this content analysis. And also we have the ability for ChatGPT to reach out and look at these highest graded content in the SERPs based upon the RankIQ proprietary method for analyzing and giving their analysis and all the key data points that we need to use to build this blog post. So we're going to use everything that RankIQ has given us to build an outline and then write a blog post. And then after that, after we get it created, we'll get it published. We'll see how long it takes to get ranked and indexed. And then we'll come back and use ChatGPT again and do some content improvement to see if we can make it even better. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to tell ChatGPT, I'm not going to set any environment variables. I'm not going to tell it to act like an SEO expert or any of that nonsense. I'm just going to tell it what I want it to do and see what we get. Let's write a blog post that ranks number 1 on Google for the keyword phrase astronomy questions. That is the keyword phrase that we got from RankIQ. They're saying we can rank for very fast. Let me go back for a second and explain my reasoning and my thought process about setting environment variables. As soon as I tell it it has a task, I know that it's going to reach out and it's going to understand that the task here is to rank number 1 for that keyword phrase. And I'm going to feed it the following information to assist it, as well as I'm going to tell it, use your knowledge in SEO to rank a blog post. So it's going to be aware enough, plus the fact that I have the SEO Core AI plugin enabled, that it's going to use the information in that plugin. And in my opinion, the AI ChatGPT is aware enough that it doesn't need a whole bunch of priming to let it know that it's supposed to act as an SEO expert. I'm giving it a task. It isn't going to act as a plumber or a lawyer or an IT professional when you're giving it the task of writing a blog post and telling it that you want to rank number 1 on Google for a very specific keyword phrase, and then feed it content analysis like topics Google likes and posts, and then feeding it all this information that you want the outline to contain, because this is what you want to be in the blog post. Title analysis, topics Google likes and titles to write a title, and then the highest graded content in the SERPs. Now, I do think I could probably get more specific and tell it to be more specific and say, hey, make sure you use these topics or terms in a title. But I just want to see from a high level, a very simple quote unquote prompt of what it can do. I think it's way better if you just start from the idea of hey, look, let me feed you this information, the information that I got from RankIQ. This is a little bit of a twist in what we've done in the last few blog posts where we said, hey, generate these LSI keywords, whether you generate them from the knowledge you have inside of your knowledge banks, or you use a plugin to go out and pull them down and then look at what's ranking out there in the SERPs. Here we're feeding it the information, but again, we're just using a very simple idea and a very simple concept. If I was talking to my assistant and my assistant has general knowledge in the idea of creating blog posts or marketing, there's a reason I hired them as an assistant, because I know that they can understand what I'm telling them to do. Now, again, being specific is important. And I think that if you want to get the best results, probably being very, 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 very specific is the best way to do that. But I think at the beginning of the stage of creating a piece of content, this is going to work for us. And we don't spend a lot of time setting the environment, and possibly when you set the environment, you give it instructions and you limit the scope or the ability for it to quote unquote think itself and do a better job. That's just my theory. Let's see what happens when we press go. So you can see the first thing it's done here is it's using WebPilot, and WebPilot is going to go out, and if you click on it, you can see what it's doing. It's actually going to reference these URLs. So it's starting there. So the thought process is here. Let me go ahead, or what WebPilot is saying is let me start at the bottom and check the content, the highest graded content in the SERPs, and then maybe move back up towards the top. You know what would be cool? A really nerdy thing is if there was a way to turn on debugging to see the thought process of the AI, the way that it's going in order, because I just gave it all this information. And again, you know, we've seen, and I've been frustrated here when I have it do certain things. If I give it a lot of stuff to do, that it gets lost in the ability to remember where it's at or have all that data and buffer it up and then give you an output. So again, like I said, I'm starting with this very simple idea, this very simple concept of being really generic in the fact of, hey, let's write a blog post that ranks number 1 on Google for the keyword phrase astronomy questions. Actually, just starting with that would be really cool, but I have this information from RankIQ that I want to make it aware of. And again, yes, I think giving it this type of information will limit it in its ability to think for itself, if you will. But I wanted to feed it the information to make sure that I'm getting the most out of what I already have from RankIQ and the analysis that they've done, either a human or the AI, their own proprietary algorithms, however they're doing it. But they're in the business of giving you those keywords because they know that based upon the way they do research or have done research in the past, that their algorithms work, and it's proven, it's tested, it's tried, it's true. And you can see here now that ChatGPT is coming back and it's saying, based on the SEO analysis of the top ranking pages for the keyword astronomy questions, here are some key insights and recommendations for creating a blog post that could potentially rank number 1 on Google. Keyword usage, content topics, title, content structure, linking strategy, user experience, meta description, mobile optimization. So again, this is setting the stage. I'm letting it figure out how to rank number 1 based upon its knowledge, also based upon the information that's out there on the internet. These 3 SERPs, these 3 URLs that are the highest graded according to RankIQ, and it went out and it pulled those down. You can see those 3 instances of WebPilot. Then the SEO Core AI plugin kicked in. Again, I didn't tell it to act as an SEO expert. I'm letting it use the SEO Core AI plugin, which is going to be reliant on the fact of what the people that created the SEO Core AI plugin have set, just like what RankIQ is set for that very specific idea or their way, their methodology of ranking number 1. So now you can see that it's actually going back through this again. So here we are, ChatGPT gets stuck in that loop. So SEO Core AI is doing the same thing that we saw with plugins that seem to be frustrating us. Again, this goes back to the simple thing here of the AI is a computer program. The AI messes up, ChatGPT even. Like you can see it's stuck in this loop. Why is it stuck in this loop? I have no idea. It's a compatibility issue or it's a glitch between the plugins and the ChatGPT interface. It just goes to show you that this thing is not perfect. So we have all that information, but we're back to the idea of, okay, that's great information, but now let's go back and write an outline. So here now you can see I said, okay, thanks for the information on how to rank number 1. Now please write an outline for the blog post to include a title for the blog post. So you can see it was just stuck in this loop. what I think it should have done. I think it should have used, or what I would want it to do, or what my hope would have been for it to do, was to use WebPilot to scrape the information, kick off SEO Core AI to make sure it goes through this, sets the stage, gives me that information so I can learn as I'm creating content, and then create an outline. But I didn't tell it to do that. So again, that's where being specific and not just leaving it out there and sort of not giving it an ending point. So part of that is the process of saying, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3. But even in the past, you've seen me do step 1, step 2, step 3, and it's also had problems. So I think we're just going to go ahead here and press go, and again, see what happens. And that's the power, right? That's the power of doing this. When we're here together and we're walking through these steps, I never wanted this case study to be about me coming on here and just showing you the exact same prompts, the exact same ideas, and showing you, hey, look, I wrote another blog post. Hey, day 70, wrote another blog post. I wanted to show you, look, when ChatGPT extended these plugins to us, or it extended its ability with these plugins and they gave this power to us, and now we can use that and get more of this information and put it all together. But you can also see that it glitches. But here we see, sure, here's a proposed outline for your blog post. Title, Exploring the Universe, Your Ultimate Guide to Astronomy, Questions and Answers. We'll go ahead and copy that, take that back to RankIQ, scroll down, and we'll see in the title grader, you can see here we got an A, but the title is way too long. They want it to be between 35 and 60 characters, 47 to 53 performs best. So we're going to ask ChatGPT to redo that, and also make sure that it uses this title analysis to give us a better title. But we do have the outline, and I think that outline is going to be fine. We have introduction, the basics of astronomy, the solar system, beyond the stars, observing the night sky, space exploration, the search for intelligent life, astronomy quiz, a fun quiz to test the reader's knowledge of the topics covered in the blog post. I think maybe we could put this at the top and make this introduction. Hey, here's a quick quiz, and then let's go into the answers for the quiz, or did you get them right? And then have it fill in all the other information for that keyword phrase to really give Google what it's looking for when it ranks. Of course, playing with this kind of stuff and looking at what is currently ranking is obviously going to be a big thing. But again, like I said, no one is typing in astronomy questions as a 2-word phrase when they're searching on Google. Now, they're probably searching for this: what conditions are necessary for life, or does life exist outside of the solar system? You know, this is going to be a completely different search. You can see here Wikipedia and NASA are ranking for this, but you can also see here that number 3, that same blog post, is ranking, does life exist outside of the solar system? Again, from harvard.edu. So they're ranking for this question, the question, does life exist out of the solar system? They're ranking inside of the big post that they created, that they titled Big Questions, that cover all the questions just like what we want to do, which is why we fed ChatGPT all that information up here that we had. So we may have to play around with this to get exactly what we want, but I think this is a good start. And what I'm going to do now is work on this title. So here now we're getting more specific after it gave us some information. And we got some general ideas of what ChatGPT thinks the blog post should look like. Now we're going to get more specific and say, please give me a new title and make it between 47 and 53 characters long using a combination of these keywords. Again, the information that we got from RankIQ. We're going to go ahead and send that message, or go and see what kind of title it comes up with. And then we'll feed that back into RankIQ, into their analysis. And here you can see I already like this one. It's a lot better. We'll go back to RankIQ and we'll say astronomy quiz, frequently asked space questions. We got an A+ and 48 characters. It nailed it. So that is perfect. And I actually really like that. I like this angle of astronomy quiz, and I want to go back and I want astronomy quiz to be the main focal point of the blog post based upon these questions and answers around astronomy. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get creative, or what I think is creative in my mind. Great title. Now redo the blog post outline and make the astronomy quiz section the focal point of the blog post, and put that as the introduction in quotes. Let's see if it understands what I mean when I say as the introduction, meaning to put that up at the top and introduce the blog post. So we'll see if that works, to have the reader quiz themselves and then find the answers in the rest of the blog post sections. Again, none of these are prompts that I'm copying and pasting. These are just ideas that I'm coming up with as I started, the very, 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 very top of the chat where I ask it simply, let's write a blog post that ranks number 1. Here's the information that I have from RankIQ. I want to focus in on that information, but I also want to use my own brain to figure out and think, well, what's going to make a good blog post? Because at the end of the day, again, nobody's looking for astronomy questions, or, I guess there are people that are typing in astronomy questions in Google, but I really don't think so. I think the blog post needs to be about a set of frequently asked questions, or a quiz yourself on this knowledge, or being able to rank for all these keywords, introduction to astronomy, or introduction astronomy quiz. Let me go back up because that scrolled down. Title, astronomy quiz, frequently asked questions, or frequently asked space questions. Introduction astronomy quiz, brief introduction to the quiz, present the astronomy quiz for the readers to test their knowledge. And then the basics of astronomy, answers and explanations, the solar system, beyond the solar system, observing the night sky. But you can see here the key is answers and explanations for all of these categories for each of these sections based upon the quiz that we're going to create, or ChatGPT is going to create. And then we're going to take a look at that tomorrow when we create this blog post and have ChatGPT write all this. Also, this is cool, references and further reading, so we can add some external links, or even better, we can add some internal links in that section, because we have written a lot of content about astronomy and we have a lot of answers to these questions right here on the blog that we've created using ChatGPT. If you're having fun, if you're learning, if you're enjoying this thought process like I am here on day 77 as we head to day 100, give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.